Hey everybody, Jeff Miller here, head of SAT instruction at Target Test Prep. Today I'm very excited to talk about 5 ways to begin your SAT preparation. We'll talk about some tips that you can follow to get started and get on your way to a great SAT score. Tip number 1, know what is tested and how it's tested. Look, you're probably starting off with your SAT studying now if you're watching this video and you're wondering where to go. Well, eventually I'm going to tell you to take a practice exam, but before I can do any of that, you gotta know what's tested on the SAT. You have to know what's in the math sections, you have to know what's in the verbal sections, and it's simple. You can go to College Board, you can check out the format and what's specifically tested in those verbal sessions, in those math sections. And the good news is you're probably not going to be too surprised. I'm sure you took the PSAT, so you're probably well aware of some of the stuff that's tested. And look, for some of the math sections, you're probably doing a lot of that stuff in high school already. So I'm hoping you'll be pleasantly surprised by what you see tested there, but that doesn't matter. I still want you to spend the time researching it and making sure you have a good macro overview of what you can expect to see on the SAT. Tip number 2, well, now that you know what's tested and how it's tested, try some practice questions. You can go to the College Board website. You can go to Khan Academy. You can also go to our site, Target Test Prep, where we have some great questions you can try to get a feel for what's to be expected when you take that practice test. This is a big next step because yes, knowing and understanding what is tested is one thing, but actually seeing it in the flesh and seeing some particular sections and the way that they're thrown at you is another thing. For example, sometimes you can use a calculator in the math section, sometimes you can't. There's also grid-in questions. I want you to try all of these different questions so you feel like you have a good foundation and base for that first practice exam. Also, I'm not saying to spend weeks or even 7 days on this. Just spend a couple days doing a handful of practice questions. Get a feel for them so you have the right foundation to take that first practice test. Step number 3, and this is where the fun begins, take a practice test to get a baseline score. So many students when they start their SAT prep don't want to do this. Now why? Because they're scared to see what the results are. But look, do not be scared of this. This is just to show your starting point, right? If you don't know where you're starting, you're never going to be able to track progress to see where you need to go, right? So take that practice test. And as we said before, you're going to first learn about the stuff that's tested on the SAT. You are going to do some practice problems. So you're going to have a pretty decent foundation. You're going to understand the format of the exam. So it's nothing to truly be afraid of. Now, the last thing I'll say is of the practice exams to take, College Board offers 8 total practice exams. We do want you getting through all of them during your prep, but no worries, just take the first one in the set of 8 that you get, and also take it as you would in SAT. Print it out, follow the timing, just be serious about taking it so it's a true baseline score, and then you can clearly see how far you are from your target, and then you'll be able to jump into your study plan. Step number 4, now that you're ready to get into your prep, you need to select the best study materials. I get it, there's a lot out there. There's classes, there's books, there's online courses. Well, what I can tell you is, and I've spoken about this in previous videos, is you want to find a course that has a detailed roadmap of what you need to do. Do not just crack open the latest book and crank through questions. You want that study plan. And furthermore, as you probably know at this point, there's a lot you need to learn to be successful on the SAT. So I advise making sure that roadmap or study plan is topical. That's so big because what you're doing is you're learning one topic at a time. You're practicing just that topic until you feel you've achieved mastery. And then you're moving on to the next topic in your study plan. And also having one main resource that you're using as opposed to jumping from resource to resource is so important because you want to learn things in a consistent way, not learning one technique from one resource and another technique from another resource, because eventually those are going to butt heads and you're not going to know what to do. It'll lead to confusion and disorganization, and of course, frustration. So find a great resource. If you want to, check out the Target Test Prep SAT course. It's awesome. We offer a trial, so see what you think. But in any case, get a great resource for your studying. Step number 5, create a foolproof study schedule. So, are you busy? Probably. You probably have a ton to do for classes, extracurriculars. Maybe you're playing sports. Maybe you're in the high school play. Whatever it is, you probably have a lot on your plate. I get that. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to sit down. You need to get a study schedule together. Even if you have to write it down or put it in a calendar app, I recommend doing it so that it's there and you can hold yourself accountable. If you want to, share that study schedule with your parents and say, hey, I know I don't love listening to you that often, but please keep me accountable for my SAT studying because I want to get through this test. And if you can do that, SAT studying will almost be like a second job for you, whereas doing homework is one thing, or going to do something with your sports team is another thing. SAT studying will fill right in, and you'll be able to feel good that each and every week you're moving towards your score goal. So that concludes today's video. I had a blast talking about how to get started with your SAT preparation. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. If you have other suggestions of other videos you'd like us to make, don't hesitate to leave a comment for me and we will get to those videos in coming weeks. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see everybody soon.